Yan, so hello. Yan. Isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Nais ko pong batiin ang lahat ng ating participants ngayong umaga na mula pa sa iba't ibang lugar ng Pilipinas. Naimbag abigat yung amin kakabsat, maray na aga. Ayan. Alang sa mga Bisaya na participants, maayong buntag ganyong tanan. Tama po ba ako? Ayan. So, ayan, muli, welcome po sa ating panibagong episode ng Web Pressure Seminar Series na Ali Peace Talk version 3.0 na pinamumunuan ng Kolehiyo ng Agrikultura at Agham Pampagkain, Universidad ng Pilipinas Los Baños, sa pangunguna ng CAFS Webinar Committee, ang chair na si Dr. Pompe Santa Cruz at ang ating CAFS Associate Dean for Research and Extension, si Dr. Barbara Kawili. Ang ating pong tema para sa seminar series na ito ay Moving Forward in Challenging Times Through Agripreneurship. Ako po si Sarah Jean Manaday mula sa National Crop Protection Center at ako po ang inyong makakasama sa pag-aaral at pakikinig ng isa na namang napakagandang topic. At ito po ay ang tungkol sa pagnenegosyo ng mga produktong mula sa bees o sa Tagalog bubuyog. So tayo po ay maswerte sa umagang ito sapagkat makakasama natin ang isang eksperto na siyang magbabahagi ng mga kalaman tungkol sa beekeeping business. Yan. So alam ko po na marami ang excited na, kaya sa umaga pong ito, tayo po ay sama-samang matuto. Dahil gaya po ng kasabihan, our treasure lies in the beehive of our knowledge. Ngunit bago po tayo tumungo sa presentation, narito po ang ilang mga house rules. Yan, para po sa mga nasa Zoom, paalala lamang po na ayan, na-mute ang inyong mga audio. At para naman po sa mga katanungan, ay maaari pong hintayin ang question and answer portion pagkatapos ng presentation. And sa mga nasa Zoom, maaari niyo pong gamitin ang chat box dyan sa baba. And doon naman po sa mga nasa Facebook at YouTube, maaari niyo pong i-type ang inyong mga questions sa comment section. Ayan. Para naman ayan, so para po sa ating mga nanonood, amin po kayong iniimbita na i-like at i-subscribe ang ating mga account sa YouTube, sa Facebook at gayon din po ang website ng CAFS. Ayan, so para po sa ating pagsisimula, ng ating programa ngayong umaga, atin pong pakinggan ang paunang mensahe ng pagbati mula sa ating masipag na dekano ng College of Agriculture and Food Science na walang iba kundi si Dean LPGM Agbisit Jr. Magandang umaga po, sir.
Good morning, Sarah. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Loud and clear po.
Thank you. Of course, I would like to take this opportunity to greet everyone, to our speaker this morning, UPLB's own Queen Bee, Dr. Cleophas Cervancia, to, of course, the brains and bronze behind the CAFS or CAPS 4-piece webinar series and the CAPS webinar and extension committee, to the men and women of the College of Agriculture and Food Science in UPLB. A special shout out, of course, to our host this morning, the National Crop Protection Center. To all our valuable viewers here with us today, a pleasant and learning morning to everyone. We are now on the third week of our Aggie Peace Talk 3.0, moving forward in challenging times through agripreneurship. For this week, our post-Valentine's Day offering, let us tell you about the bees, the buzzing business of bees. We have invited a very prominent, definitely a BCB speaker in this field so that we can all learn a thing or two from her. To our Queen Bee, Dr. Cervancia, thank you very much for sharing your busy time with us. To all the participants, please do not hesitate to ask questions as Dr. Cervancia is very eager to share her knowledge as a molder of scholar ng bayan para sa bayan. After this topic, on Thursday, we are offering patok na pagnenegosyo ng pato with Mr. Alan Casajeros of EDL Farms. Of course, don't worry if you missed our webinars. They are all available in our YouTube channel, CAFS UP Los Baños. So don't forget to subscribe to be updated. On behalf of our family, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, we are unbelievably elated with your support. Thank you, and may you stay healthy, safe, and productive in these challenging times. God bless us all. Sarah?
Sir, thank you so much sa iyong magandang mensahe. At gayon din po pala na gusto kong i-recognize ang effort ng ating Associate Dean na si Dr. Adilisa Dorado. Ayan, so para naman po sa ating pagpapakilala ng ating special na tagapagsalita ngayong umaga, nais ko pong tawagin si Miss Romaline Limpiada.
Good morning po sa bawat isa. Good morning mga ka-agripreneurs. Welcome po sa ating session na naman po. At it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today. She has been my former professor sa subject ko po sa NetSci. Ayan. At so, ngayon po ay papakilala ko po ang ating pong guest speaker. Sabi nga ni Sir, siya ang ating Queen Bee. So, kilalang kilala po siya pagdating sa usapan sa mga bubuyog. At actually, she is the current president of Apimondia Regional Commission for Asia. She's also the vice president of Asian Apiculture Association. She is currently involved in beekeeping projects funded by the Department of Agriculture, DABAR, and she works on pollinator restoration in disaster hit areas in Visayas, yung mga tinamaan po ng Yolanda. She's also an advisor to students doing researches and researches in bees and other related fields. A member of the Technical Working Group on Organic Agriculture, Biotechnology, and Subcommittee on Residues on Veterinary Drugs and Food. She's also active in conducting beekeeping training nationwide. Kaya po nakatanggap nga po siya ng award sa extension sa Pest Management Council of the Philippines last 2019. And one of her major contributions is yung development of beekeeping technologies which are being adopted in our country and Asian neighbor. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest speaker for today, Dr. Cleophas Rodriguez Cervancia. Take it away, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Um, I'll be discussing with you the business side of beekeeping, but nevertheless, before we can make good in this business, you need to learn some information about the bees. For example, if you are selling honey, the people will be asking you, how are honey produced? How will you determine adulteration in honey? So I'll give you some important insights, and of course, the business side of it, because this is the theme. And I'm pleased to be invited in this forum, in this webinar, because I'm also a proud alumna of the Agriculture College of Agriculture. They now food sciences. So mabuhay po tayong mga agriculturists. Okay, so let's go on. So let me tell you about the bees. And the title is The Buzzing Beezness. Okay, next. Now, why bees? Well, of all the commodities, why bees? Because we are looking for opportunities. You know, when you do business, the first question that we'll ask is that, is there a market demand? Who will buy my product? Because market is the key. And along with that, of course, you must know marketing strategies. So it boils down to one, the commodity, and the one who is selling the commodity. Now, there is a great demand for honey, especially these days that people are really concerned about how to become healthy. The source of energy, okay, and we are also after the impact of these products, of this commodity to the environment. And we lack supply of quality bee products. And why bees? It is indeed profitable, but with a caution, like with the necessary skills and capitalization. So at this point, I will tell you, beekeeping may not be that easy as we think of. It requires skills, but if you will learn it, I tell you, you will earn a fortune. And capitalization is always there. And our concern in agriculture, which actually is my first priority, is the role of bees as pollinators. So we can earn money by providing pollination services. Actually, this is my entry point in beekeeping. My field is entomology and then ecology, and I studied pollination biology. So I learned about bees first as a pollinator, and then it grew up into like how to raise bees. And now we are really providing these beekeeping technologies nationwide and other parts of Asia. Next slide, please. This is the profile of the industry. Yes, to give you an idea on how valuable bee products are, we are importing 612 metric tons. And you see our production is only 150 metric tons. For the European bees, is 70. Dorsata and Breviligula, well, those are giant bees. Our Pukyutan producing 80 metric tons. And our favorite, our apple of our eye these days are the stingless bee, because we developed the technology for stingless bee. I think this is the milestone of the UPLB, and it is through the bee program. Now take note of the giant bee. These are the Pukyutan that are sold, along in some stores, in some communities. Now, this is very valuable. Do you know that the giant bee honey is the one that conforms with the organic standard, because we have standards for organic honey, and it is this giant bee that will fit into the criteria. So it is just a matter, but of course we need to do standardization. We have device production system and bee product processing, and it has now entered the export market. Okay, next slide, please. As I have said, we must learn about bees, know your bees. Not because if you are in marketing, the more information that you can give about what you are selling, now it can add value to your product. So you can sell it at a relatively higher price because your knowledge is already incorporated there. Hello. So of course we have the social bee, like the bumblebee. It is being commercialized. We can mass produce these, and these are the ones used for greenhouses. Like if you would like to produce big pepper, tomato, as you see in along Tagaytay, now it's the bumblebee that pollinates them. And then we have on the other side, the stingless bees. So these are the social bees because they come in colonies. Next slide, please. These are the honeybees. Very familiar with you because you may have one in your household. They are the ones found inside the house, in cracks, crevices. You know, we can put them in hive, and we can start up with beekeeping using this. We call it laywan in the dialect, or liguan in the Visayas and Mindanao. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. Now, let us not forget about solitary bees. There is no business aspect here, but I'd like to impress on you on its importance to agriculture. Business in the sense that they are good pollinators. And isn't it that the increase in farm productivity can be translated, and it can be equivalent to income. Substantial income to agriculture. Actually, the population of the solitary bees are the ones threatened. Not really the social bees, because the social bees, we can easily mass produce them. Okay, next slide, please. Now, reasons for keeping bees. Yeah, added income. And I will discuss a little later. Now, what products can you make out of honey? So added income. Next, alternative food supplement. Of course, you can pitch if you are selling honey that, now, do you know that honey is already a simple sugar? Like, what did you eat this morning? Now, if you eat pandesal, if you eat rice, now it will take a while before this can be absorbed by the body. But honey, in a little while when you take it, since it is a simple sugar, it can easily be used up by your body, and it can rejuvenate you right away. Now, I have diabetes. You can pitch that the table sugar that is sucrose, technically known as sucrose, it's only 5% in authentic honey. So that's the standard for Codex and the International Honey Commission, only 5%. That's why we know adulterated honey consists of like 90% sucrose, meaning to say that they just cook sugar syrup. And then you can go further if you are into selling the bees from the pukyutan. You can further add the sucrose content of this giant bee honey is only 3%. Okay, isn't it that cool? But moving forward, how about stingless bees? Okay, the sugar content, the sucrose content of stingless bee is just 0.1 to 0.3%. Okay, so by that alone, now you can sell your product right away. So the next is medicine. Now, honey is known to be, well, I'd like just to view it as, well, it can provide you energy. It can increase body resistance. So if you have high body resistance, it means that you are not prone to diseases. And moreover, our studies, our microbiologists and other partners at the OST, they tested the medicinal or therapeutic properties of honey. So it can heal wound, and then it's used for other medical purposes. So it can be used as medicine. Okay, next. Yeah, and of course, pollination, because it can substantially increase crop yield. Next slide, please. And conservation. All of these, because when you do business, it should be balanced with the environment. It's how you pitch it, that by patronizing this product, we can work on conservation. You can still, those in the academe, now we can speak of biodiversity maintenance, and you can pitch that bees as pollinators can, they pollinate not only the economic crops, but also the wild plants that will contribute to environmental diversity. So it's towards conservation. And then you will not be using harmful pesticides. And then the next, as a hobby, it's priceless, it's entertaining, it's relaxing as a hobby. But we keep on saying, we at the Bee program, now even if you keep this for hobby, there should be some financial advantage there, so that the income that you will get can support your hobby. You don't need to get a portion of your salary just to support your hobby, but it should be self-sustaining, and it's more relaxing and it's cool. Okay, next. Yeah, okay, because I'm in agriculture and you guys are also keen on agriculture, or even our dean, of course, will appreciate that pollinator is equal to food. Now, sometimes this is neglected. Modern agriculture would use the best, the plant breeders will choose the best seeds. The aim of which is that, I want a crop that will give me higher yield, the best tasting calabasa, and so on. And then my fellow entomologists will look into like biological control agents or any, say, pesticide, insecticides to kill all the pests. The group of Bambi, the plant pathologists, there are anthracnose, so we need to look into management of the pathogens, disease management, and then the agronomy. So this needs some kind of fertilizer. Now, guys, granting that all these conditions are present, but there are no, there is flower. The flower will set, but those conditions alone are not enough to cause the fruit to set. So pollinators are the key factors, especially in crops requiring outcrossing or cross-pollination. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, some basic information, no need to memorize. So the pollinators regulate ecosystem services, and you see 87.5% of flowering wild plants depend on animal pollination, 94% in the tropic, and 78% in the temperate. So about 3/4 of food crops benefit from animal pollination. Now, animal pollination, because some plants are also pollinated by wind, like our rice, our corn, and some crops are parthenocarpic, like banana and pineapple. So who cares about the animal pollinators in that sense? Okay, next. Okay, let's see the business side of beekeeping. It can increase farm yield 100% in cross-pollinated plants. It improves the quality of fruits and seeds. Now, these are based on empirical data because we have done a lot of work on pollination. Like we count the number of flowers, we compare those not visited by the pollinators and those open. That's why we were able to come up with that data. So an increase in crop yield, isn't it a good income? And not only that, it can improve the quality of fruits and seed viability. You can sell bee colonies, why not? For stingless bee, it's 5,000 per colony, sometimes 6,000. So if you have like 1,000 colonies, go figure, multiply by 5,000. Okay, next slide, please. To inspire you, the rich, I can say large scale growers, especially mango growers, they are really using stingless bees to pollinate their mango. Why were we able to promote this? We studied this together with my colleagues like Alex and some of my team at the bee program. We really derive empirical data on the role of bees in mango pollination. That's why we were able to motivate them to buy colonies. And, there are times when the Philippine Airlines, the cargo is just full of stingless bees now. So we appreciate Philippine Airlines that allow the transport of bees. But of course, it has to go some documentation, some protocol. Why did these growers invest on bees? Because it's very expensive, though. You need to transport it. They pay for the freight. Now, because they get high yield, that it can compensate for the cost of the bees. And the one thing nice about it is that those rich mango growers, they don't take care of bees, they just buy and buy. And who are our sources? So these are the cooperators, the trainees of UPLB, because we've been conducting trainings since 1989. So we have lots of legitimate and good suppliers for our colonies. We at the university, actually, we are not mass producing these bees. We have colonies for research, training, and extension. So we don't do so much business. So we pass it to you, the stakeholders. So we share the technology, and this is for the community, for the greater community. So why not go beekeeping? You may be one of our suppliers. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let's go to some valuable bee products, which are actually, these are just bonuses. So you have honey, and then the big bottle there is honey from honeybee, and then honey from stingless bees. By the way, stingless bees are not honeybees. And then we can make cider. Like 1 kilo of honey, you just mix it with 1 gallon of water, and it can give you cider. Actually, it's just vinegar, but we call it cider so that it can, command better price. We call it cider. So it's kind of a marketing strategy. And not only that, you can make soap, you can make hair wax, and then shampoo, conditioner. Now, what is the hashtag there is propolis. Now, we studied propolis. By the way, we have a market for propolis, and these are produced by stingless bees. Now, our trainings, our trainees who are our friends now, You know that the propolis of stingless bees, we have opened up an Asian market for this propolis, and it sells at like 500 pesos per kilo. What if you have 1 ton? So, but of course, let us not forget there should be standardization, and that is the service of UPLB, of the university. We make sure that the standards of these products that go, the products that go to the market are really good, because we don't want to be losing business, and we want to maintain our credibility. So propolis, now why were we able to promote propolis? Hashtag propolis. Now, because our chemists, because the bee program, we have a strong, a formidable team from the chemistry. They elucidate the properties of honey, propolis, beeswax, and so on. So they were able to elucidate on the properties. And then our microbiologist team, who is equally formidable, they tested this propolis to a wide array of microorganisms, and it did. And then we incorporated it in the soap, in our ointment. And then, yeah, you can market it. In our training, university training, we teach you on how to make these products, how to make soap, how to make lip balm. So this is the services that, these are the services that the university is offering to the greater community. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. These are pollen in stingless bee hive. They don't look appetizing, but you can really, you can package it. So again, this part of marketing skills. It's sold at 500 pesos per kilo. We have an open market for propolis. So every day, we receive calls, we inquiries, and the market is there. So if you can send us, now we can readily pass you to our market. Okay, next please. Revenue from honey. Do you know stingless bee honey costs 2,000 pesos per kilo? Now stingless bee honey, it has higher, like flavonoid content is higher compared with the honey from the apis species, which are the honeybees. But the energy content is the same. It's just that an added value, the phenolics, the antioxidant property, and it is supported by science. It is supported by research. So it's really selling hotcakes. You know, in Asia, they sell this at like 6,000 pesos. And I said, well, it's too much for the Filipino. I mean, we really need to, we must have some social, involvement. We consider some social issues, because it's kind of very expensive. We'll be selling this at 5,000. So 2,000 per kilo may be the ceiling price. And then honey from honeybee is just 1,000 per kilo. Some are selling this as 1,500 per kilo. Now, because it depends really on the production cost. In some areas, you need, in Mindanao, hello friends from Mindanao, I know you have lower production costs because you have good weather, you have the blooming plants throughout the year. So don't sell your honey at very high price. But in Luzon, where I belong, it's very difficult, because we often have typhoon and other calamities. So that's why our honey, the cost of our honey is a bit higher than the production cost, of course, in other parts of the Philippines. Okay, next slide, please. Beeswax. Now, these are produced from, the giant bees. We have taught the indigenous people to keep the beeswax, and we buy their beeswax. It's 1,000 pesos per kilo. There is also a ready market for the beeswax. Okay, next slide, please. This is the propolis. It looks not so good, but the price, they will appreciate its market value. As I have said, 500 per kilo. The retail price is 1,000 to 1,500 per kilo. So it's, yeah, retail is 1,500, 500 for export. And you know, at the left side, we just pack it in a food grade container and that's ready to go to the Asian market. Okay, next, please. So these are the value-added products, among others. So you see this, you can make wine. One of our friend, the cooperator, he is the owner of Gel's Honey. So good honey, and his honey enters the market. Now, our assistance to look, of course, is to analyze his honey. Sometimes he brings his honey to the lab to make sure that it is authentic. And of course, some of the gadgets that we have in the lab. And then you have the lotion, the shampoo. It's easy to make these products as long as, with good marketing strategies, you can easily sell it. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is the economic side. If you have further questions on this, yeah, I will call a friend. I collaborate with Dr. Agham Cuevas. He knows this better. We have a forthcoming paper on the economics. So let's wait until it appears in the journal. So it says here, the economists will know this very well. So the IRR, or this is the discount rate that makes the present value equal to zero. So it looks like that it is profitable because it is higher than the interest rate of 6% because it is 21%. Because if it is equal or lower than the interest rate of 6%, now it is not viable or it is not feasible. And then you have the net present value. It is positive, so it is good. And the payback is 2.9. Okay, so this is the economic side. So if you would like to go into the nitty-gritty, you can email us if you want, like if you would like to make a loan in the bank, because there is a separate document. This is for personal use, this is for the use of the bank. That's what I learned from my colleagues from the economics department. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, epitourism, why not? Yeah, it's a secret. You can earn a fortune. Like, for example, these are just few of our cooperators who operate an epitourism site. Like we have Pia's Bee Farm. So they have bees and they have a restaurant. And of course, their menu, the recipe, it's glazed with honey. There's always honey there. And the Bee Farm in Leyte. So the Sayonara, the Beehive, the Whole Bee Farm, Inog Maria, Yumi's Farm, Milea, among others. So you develop this, you will really earn a lot. Maybe more than, so you complement. Well, because in marketing, in business side, by the way, you may not keep bees, isn't it? But this will provide an opportunity to our beekeepers who will be selling the product. So there should always be you, the entrepreneurs who will be helping bee farmers, the farmers who will be helping the community, because a small farmer really cannot do that great marketing because they don't have that much skill. So it's our responsibility to be helping them. So like profitability, there is an equity for, community service to the nation. And then along with this is environmental conservation. Okay, next slide, please. And that is the last slide, I think. So in parting, I should say that to be a successful bee businessman, one should be basically a good person who will appreciate bee behavior. Now, if you can deal with bees, you can deal with all people from all walks of life. Okay, thank you. That ends my presentation.
Ayan, so maraming salamat po, Dr. Servancia, the Queen Bee, ayan, para sa inyong magandang presentation. I'm sure madami po tayong natutunan ngayong umaga. Ako siguro personally, favorite ko yung part na yung slide na pollinator equals food. And of course, yung epitourism. And yun, syempre, yun pong sa mga nais magnegosyo, yung sa business na part. Ayan, so na-discuss din po ni Dr. Servancia yun. So, bago po tayo dumako sa question and answer portion, ay paalala lamang po sa mga gustong magkaroon ng e-certificate, maaari pong sagutan ang evaluation form na makikita po ang link dyan sa screen, and makikita rin po ang link sa mga comment sections ng Facebook, ng YouTube, at gayon din po sa doon sa chat box ng Zoom. Ayan, so shout out lang po sa mga manonood natin ngayong umaga, sa mga taga Nueva Ecija, sa mga taga Bicol, sa mga taga Calabarzon, Mindanao, Surigao, Leyte. So, at marami pong mga probinsya. Maraming salamat po sa pagtangkilik ng ating programa na Web Treasure Seminar Series ng HAFS UPLB. Ayan, so paalala po sa mga gusto ng e-certificate, huwag pong kalimutan na sagutan ang ating evaluation form. Ayan, so para po mas maging buhay at mas lumago pa ang ating kaalaman ngayong umaga, tayo po ay dadako na sa question and answer portion. So para po sa pagkalap ng ating mga questions, ang mangunguna po ay si Ms. Maureen Ceres de Rojas, at kasama po niya sa pagkalap ng inyong mga katanungan ay si Ms. Jane de Rojas at si Ms. Joanne Robles. Ms. Maureen?
Ayan, magandang good morning po ulit sa inyo. Talaga namang napaka-informative ng ibinahagi sa atin ng ating Queen Bee, si Dr. Servancia. So marami na po ba sa inyo ang nahihikayat na mag-venture sa bee business? Ayan. Ngayon po, bukas na po ang ating lupon sa inyong mga katanungan. Sa mga gustong maglahad ng tanong, maaari po tayong mag-type sa Zoom Q&A. Marami rin po tayong nakikita ngayon na katanungan sa Zoom chat box. Ilagay niyo lang po ang inyong mga katanungan dyan. Atin din pong minomonitor ang ating FB Live at YouTube Live sa ating mga katanungan. Huwag po tayong mahihiyang magtanong. Also, maaari po tayong magtanong ng live. So, raise lang po ang inyong mga hands kung gusto niyo po magtanong ng live, and we will acknowledge you. So, any questions po? Ayan. From Neil Anthony Camora from Zoom. Ang sabi po niya, how often to harvest honey from stingless bees?
Okay, the best time, you just harvest once a year, and this is during the summer season. So whatever my Bicol, I think they have early summer, dry season for that matter. So just once a year, because we would like to expand the colony. We would like to propagate them. So it's best to just do it once a year.
Okay po. From Jose de Chavez from Zoom po ulit. Is the office of Dr. Servancia still importing queen bees? Because long time ago, I used to buy from her. And then he also asked if stingless bees worth 5,000 per colony, how much is the honeybee per colony today?
Okay, hello, Joe. Okay, nice to hear from you again. Now, actually, many years ago, it's not me who is doing the importation, but the university just facilitates. But there were, in 2012, there was a change in the administration, like the Department of Agriculture, the different agencies that set back this procedure. That's why it was put on hold. So the answer is that I don't know now who are doing the importation of queen bee. By the way, these are the for the interest of the audience. The question of Joe is for the European bees, which we need to replenish the queen Now, because we don't have native populations, that's why we need, sometimes there is a need for importation to enrich the genetic pool. So now there are some local raisers, Joe, and one is doing instrumental insemination. Now for stingless bees, colony is, but don't be too much, excited about the price, because it depends on the quality of the colony. Some will be selling at a very low price, but it is not standardized. That's why we are promoting standardization. So a good colony, stingless bee that is ready to go with the, standard, with strong colony, what I mean, is 5,000, but for the honeybee, I think it ranges from 9,000 to 13,000 pesos. So that's it.
Okay, ma'am. We have another question received from Mr. Brent Rugaber via email. He has two questions. One is, for someone interested in offering pollination services on an annual basis to coconut growers, what fee would be appropriate per hive of Apis mellifera? And then he asked, how many 10-frame hives is recommended for adequate pollination per hectare of coconut grove?
Okay, that's that's a good question, because you're interested in knowing like how many colonies would be required to pollinate a certain area. First, we need to know the local populations of pollinators. So there is a need for validation. So before we can recommend, we visit the site. For all you know, you may not need to introduce any colony. And then if the colonies are limited, it's then that we can recommend like it needs like 4 hives or 5 hives. Now, usually in coconut plantation, you have native pollinators there, but you can keep bees in order for you to get pollen. They provide good pollen sources, and they provide good honey. Do you know that coconut honey, it has higher antioxidant property compared with like other light honeys? So at the moment, I cannot give really a concrete answer on the exact number of hives, because we really need to sample the existing bee populations in the area.
Okay. So, isa pa pong tanong from Mr. Javen William Nectar. May batas po ba or ordinance for putting up bee farm, like may minimum kilometers requirement in residential areas? Salamat po.
Okay, wala tayong batas tungkol dyan. Pero ang maipapayo natin ay kung yung honeybee ang aalagaan mo, wag na muna siguro doon sa residential area. Kung meron man, siguro hanggang 2 colony lang, kasi yung sting, lalo pa pag may mga bata, may mga hayop doon sa kabila, mababarangay kayo, you can be, pwede kayong dalhin sa korte dahil yun, it posed harm. Kaya pwedeng stingless bee kasi walang sting. Pero kung talagang gusto mo ng honeybee, siguro maximum of 4 colonies lang ang pwede mo. So wala tayong batas actually. And then ang secret din dyan, when you harvest, give some to your neighbor. Yan.
Share your blessings nga no, ma'am. So from YouTube po, Miss Juvie and Olancos ask, ano po ang kailangan para makapag-start ng bee business?
Okay, depende. Ikaw, ano bang business? So gusto kong malaman, gusto mo bang magtayo ng apiary or meliponary? Gusto mo bang mag-alaga o gusto mo lang mag-business ng bee products? So, 2 bagay yun. Ngayon, kung gusto mong mag-umpisa ng beekeeping, kailangan mo ang site, kailangan mo ng bee pasture. At kung ang napili mong site ay walang halaman, pwede nating i-develop yan na lagyan natin ng mga bee plants. Yun ang unang requirement. So number 1 is forage resources. And number 2, dapat maganda yung starting colony mo. Kasi minsan you cannot be Some failed because their starting colonies are not so good. So, kailangan maganda yung pag-umpisahan nating colony. Good colony, disease-free colony, relatively strong in order for you to prosper. Kung wala yun, sayang po yung ating investment.
Ayan po. Kaugnay po ng sagot niyo, ma'am. Itinatanong naman po ni Marichon na Mapano from Zoom, what is the area requirement needed in raising a colony? Would a rubber plantation be appropriate in raising bees?
Ang rubber plantation kasi alam ko monoculture yan di ba? Ang area, hindi pinag-uusapan ang minimum area, pero ang pinag-uusapan doon, yung forage resources. Kahit maliit yung area mo, pero ang dami mong pollen and nectar sources, madami kang halamang makakain yung mga bees, you cannot go wrong. So it's not really the size, but it is the plants that are present in those sites. Kahit 1 acre lang, tapos punong-puno ng halaman, okay na yun.
So biodiversity po ng mga halaman.
Tapos kung rubber, magtatanim ka pa rin kasi hindi bee plant kasi yung ganong mga plantation crops niya. Hindi siya bee plant.
Okay. So from Ma'am Nenita De Castro from Zoom, how do we determine the quality of honey sold in different outlets? What is the indicator or physical appearance?
You can, physical appearance, it's very deceiving. Talagang analysis lang. So we need to do physico-chemical analysis. And recently, we can detect it by using isotopes. So dalawa yung chemical analysis, yung usual na tinitingnan natin yung percentages ng sucrose, mga HMF, yung mga yardstick tayo dyan, and then there are laboratories doing it. Our chemistry department used to do it before the pandemic. And then doon sa Philippine Nuclear Research, dito tayo merong isotope technique to determine adulterated honey or not. And if I may share, based on our recent studies, now, do you know that only 20% of the honey in the market are authentic? So lahat po, yung mga sample na kinuha natin sa online, lahat po ay adulterated or not authentic. Tapos po, yung 20% na pure, we source it from our beekeeper cooperator. Yung mga existing na apiary, yung ating colleagues who are good beekeepers, yun din lang po ang nakuna natin ng authentic honey. So mag-ingat po tayo because you may just be consuming sugar syrup.
Ma'am, kaugnay po sa sagot ninyo, basihan din po ba ang price ng honey? Medyo malapit po ba ang price ng honey sa authenticity nito?
Yeah, today, ganon. Minsan 150 lang, but, you know, they may change their mind. Pataasin ko na din itong halaga ng honey ko so it will appear authentic. So, chemical analysis lang or yung isotope, yun lang ang makakapagsabi kung authentic o hindi. Kaya, yun, dapat reliable yung source natin. Kaya if you want to do business selling honey, you get a sample and do, request for certificate of analysis and you just buy sample or you have the analysis yourself. You submit it to a legitimate laboratory. Yan talagang ISO lab. And then at saka ka bumili ng madami.
Okay. Ma'am, from Ison Kalimpang from FB Livestream. What are the best types of flowering plants as source of nectar to produce best honey?
Okay. You know, in our country, we have diverse plant. Like if you look at your backyard, parang chapsoy, you know, you have coffee, you have star apple, you know, and the combination of nectar give that unique flavor and taste of the Philippine honey. Kaya masarap yung Philippine honey. It comes from combination of different nectar sources. Now, best honey, it depends on your taste. Like for example, if you, because the taste of the honey will depend upon the nectar source. During summer, dinara, the dipterocarp blooms. A short period, it will give you golden honey, delicious honey. Okay, so if you, there is that taste that you may like. Now, Baguio, we have their famous sunflower honey. And it's October, November, December. Sila lang ang may sunflower honey. The color is very nice. It's yellow. It's very sweet. So if you like the taste, so it depends on individual preference. Me, I like honey from tamarind because it's like maasim. Stingless bee honey is sour. So if you are keen on sour taste, you go for stingless bee honey. So my answer is that it's your preference. But coffee honey, I think it's premium honey, yung galing sa coffee. And then there are times when we can really get unifloral honey if you have huge plantation of coffee, for example, hundreds of hectares. So when it blooms, all the bees will go there. So you will have a unifloral honey that tastes like coffee. It's great. I think one of the greatest tastes that I tasted is the coffee honey. So from Cavite, this is an advantage, and those coffee growing in Batangas and Mindanao.
Nice. May tanong naman, ma'am, ni Christian Canete. Is there such a government project that we could avail free materials to start a beekeeping colony in our community here in Sorsogon, Bicol? Baka meron po kayong alam.
And what's the question?
If there is such a government project that we could avail free materials to start a beekeeping colony in our community here in Sorsogon, Bicol.
Okay, you can request assistance from your LGU. Actually, we are getting good partnership with the LGUs. So what we are doing is that we provide technical services. UPLB can only offer technical services, by the way, free of charge. It's our service to the nation. And then all the logistics are provided by the LGU. So you try your LGU. You make a proposal, and then we can give technical assistance, and there you go. You can have the colonies from your local government unit.
Ayan, thank you, ma'am. Sabi naman po ni Mr. Henry Brolagda, thank you for your awesome presentation. Just a quick question. 4 P's of marketing includes placement. What is an ideal channel of distribution? Ano po kayo?
Distribution, actually, I really do not know. Because in bee product, well, the buyer will just call us and, okay, how many can you produce? I'm gonna pick it up, have it analyzed. Actually, good honey does not reach the market anymore.
Oh. Another question, ma'am. I think this is a pest control question. Is there any way how to control pollen beetle or small hive beetle infestation?
Yeah, we can, there are ways. So you can email me and I'll give you the details. We have studied a lot of small hive beetles. Yeah, it's a long discussion. You just email me or through Messenger. I'll be very willing to share our findings. And we are all out there to help.
By the way, the question is from Adrex Earl Coloma from Zoom. Ayan, ma'am.
Sige. You can provide my FB or my email. Okay, my email is cleoservancia@yahoo.com. So easy to remember. You just email me and I'll give you the complete detail on how to control the small hive beetle.
Ma'am, another question, sabi po ni Donna Raz. I am from Surigao City. Can you suggest where I can get training for beekeeping? Thanks.
Where he can get what?
Training for beekeeping.
You just write the university and then, yeah, requesting for assistance for training. So through your LGU, or you can write Department of Science and Technology that you need training, you just organize so we can visit you. Because usually we have this volunteer program at the OST. They provide us with the transportation and you just feed us and then we can offer you the training. So approach your Department of Science and Technology office, regional office.
Someone wants to ask his question live from Mr. Miko Katipon. Mr. Miko Katipon.
Hello po. Yes, actually, nagbabalak po kami ng kaibigan kong mag-business ng honey. So, meron po akong 1 hectare of land. So, ilang colony po kaya yung pwede kong ilagay doon, yung maximum po?
Anong tanim mo doon sa 1 hectare of land?
I'm sorry po. Anong tanim po?
Oo.
Meron po doon na niyog po, tapos mga gulay lang.
Niyog at gulay. So how many, kailangan malaman, at saka yung niyog, anong stage? Yung ba ay bata pa, namumulaklak, o anong stage? Yung po
Siguro po mga nasa 50 to 80 years old na po yung iba doon.
Parang matanda na siya. Ano?
Matanda na po, opo.
Do not know, pero usually, we can recommend just 20 initially.
20 po.
20 lang.
Apo. Tapos isang question ko pa po kasi since prone po tayo sa bagyo, ano po kaya yung mga risk na yon pwede naming makuha dun sa sa bagyo or kung anong calamities po?
Pagka meron ng signal, alam mo, talian mo na yung mga colony mo kasi nililipad ng hangin. That's what our beekeepers are doing, lalo pa dito sa Sorsogon. Kahit dito, basta may signal, tinatalian na yun para hindi ilipad yung hive. And then kung binabaha yung area mo, ilipat mo na yung colony mo. Para ding tao, pag may mga abiso, ay lumilikas. Ililikas din natin yung ating bees.
Okay. At sa ito po, last question po. Is it okay if I hunt some bees in my nearby area? Kasi po, dun sa area namin, marami po dun na stingless bee at saka meron din pong mga honeybees. Is it okay or should I leave them alone?
Just leave them alone.
Okay. Okay. Thank you po.
Ayan, maraming salamat po, Mr. Katipon. Pwede po bang malaman kung taga saan po kayo at saan po kayo konektado?
Taga San Pablo po ako. San Pablo, Laguna. Bale, si Peter po yung nag-recommend sa amin na umattend dito.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kaibigan po kami ni Peter.
Ayan, maraming salamat po. Talaga namang siksik po tayo ngayon sa katanungan. Pero sadly, limited po tayo sa oras. Maraming salamat po muli, Dr. Servancia, sa inyong pagpapaunlak. Para sa ating mga taga-subaybay, nawa ay marami po kayong natutunan ngayong umaga at sana po ay marami sa inyo ang nahikayat magsimula sa ganitong business. Yan. Ngayon naman po ay ibinabalik ko na kayo sa ating butihing host, Ms. Sara, pero sa mga hindi po namin nasagot na tanong, maaari po namin isend sa inyo ang mga kasagutan. Ayan, maraming salamat po ulit, Ms. Sara.
Ayan, so maraming salamat Ms. Maureen at Dr. Servancia sa buhay na open forum. Ayan, bilang pagpasalamat po sa ating guest speaker this morning, nais ko pong basahin ang Certificate of Appreciation. Kailan po? Yan. So, College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, College Laguna, Philippines, presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Cleophas Servancia for serving as the resource speaker on the topic The Buzzing Beezness during the Agi Peace Talk 3.0, Moving Forward in Challenging Times through Agripreneurship webinar sponsored by the College of Agriculture and Food Science held on 16 February 2021. This is given this 16th day of February 2021 at CAF's University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Laguna. Signed, Elpidio M. Agbisit Jr., Dean, and Pompe Santa Cruz, Chair Webinar Committee. So thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yan. So bago po tayo magpatuloy ay nais ko po kayong imbitahan sa ating picture taking. Iniimbitahan ko po ang lahat na buksan ang inyong mga camera at para po sa mabilisang picture taking natin this morning. Para naman po makita ang inyong mga nagagandahan at nagagwapuhang mga itsura this morning. Ayan. So si Miss Romalyn po ang charge sa ating photoshoot. Miss Romalyn, okay na po ba?
Okay, isa pa po. Saglit lang. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay na po, Miss Sarah.
Okay, thank you po, Ms. Romalyn. Para po sa panghuling parte ng ating programa, nais ko pong imbitahan para sa panghuling mensahe ang Direktor ng NCPC, si Direk Melvin D. Abuenga.
CAPS, kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong pagdalo sa seminar na ito. Umaasa po kami na magiging kapaki-pakinabang ito bilang tugon sa isang karagdagang paraan upang lalong maragdagan ang inyong mga pagkakakitaan at kaalaman tungkol sa mga bubuyog. Imbitado po kayo sa mga susunod pang mga webinar na aming iniaalay sa inyo. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
So maraming salamat po, Sir Melvin. And para naman po sa susunod na paksa ng ating Agi Peace Talk, yan, so ito po ay ang patok na pagnenegosyo ng pato. Ito po ay sa next week, Feb 18, ng alas 9 po ng umaga. So, sa lahat po ng ating mga participants this morning, maraming salamat po sa pagtangkilik ng ating programa ng House at sa mga susunod pong paksa amin pong inaasahan ng inyong patuloy na pagsuporta. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Yan, sa mga gusto po pala ng e-certificate, huwag niyo pong kalimutang ating evaluation form. Makikita po sa mga chat box at ngayon din po sa mga comment sections. Yan, huwag niyo rin pong kalimutan follow and subscribe ng ating YouTube and Facebook CAFS accounts. And gayon din po ang ating website.